Hi, this is Silver Quill.
I'm AC Racebester.
Hi, I'm Jax Blade.
Carrier Stenner.
Hi, I'm Odyssey of Odyssey, and you're watching Timegal25.
And you're watching Timegal25.
And you're watching Timegal25.
Oh, and you're watching Timegal25.
And you're watching Timegal25. Be sure to hit that bell icon and subscribe.
So, 2021 is nearing its end. I like to think that this year, while still having tons of events that were wild and crazy and out of left field and scary and emotional and everything else, that this year was much calmer than everything that came last year. Because we've gotten a better handle on some things, we've learned how to deal with other things. You know, I think this year just kind of turned out a bit better than last year. I think one of the things that helped was a lot of things that were supposed to come out last year, or at least had some intention of doing so, were moved to this year because of things that happened last year. And I think that a lot of times those things that came this year were for the better. And a lot of things that came out this year had an impact on me. And when I say an impact, it doesn't have to mean like, oh, this changed my life forever and I'm reflecting on everything I am as a person. No, they just have to mean something to me. And those can mean something in big ways or small ways. They just need to mean something to me, and I can say that they had an impact on me. So, as the year comes to a close, I thought I'd do what some other people that I respect on YouTube do, and just talk about things that really kind of impacted me in 2021. At the time of recording this, it's not December yet, so Danganronpa S still hasn't come out, but I feel like that's not big enough where I want to talk about this in a video like that, because that doesn't have any new big story or big moments for characters from what I've seen. There might be some moments of characters that I wanted to see interacting more, but they didn't give us new Makuro art or anything, so really, I'm not really having high hopes for that. I'm going to split this up into different sections, with the first being talking about the games that affected me, then the movie that affected me, and then the music that affected me, and then ending it off with personal. I think a lot of people do it that way. I'm going to do my best to kind of keep this structured and keep each section talking about the things I like short. So this is probably going to be the shortest video I've uploaded on my channel in a while. But hey, let's see how it goes. And I'm going to do my best to keep spoilers from the games and movies that I'm talking about, but there still might be something that slips through just to fill the gap. But hopefully you can watch through all of this without playing anything and not having anything ruined for you for the most part. So yeah, I think that's a good introduction. Let's get into it. And to start with games, I think it's only appropriate that I start with the game that I think most people are going to bring up when they talk about, games of 2021 or big things of 2021. But it still had something that had an impact on me, and I'll try my best to explain why, what made it unique for me. Deltarune Chapter 2. I feel like looking at this game, there isn't much about it that I can say that hasn't been said like a million different times by so many other people on this site in essays and walkthroughs and let's plays and the like. So I'm going to keep this brief. Deltarune Chapter 2 really establishes that this game as a whole is phenomenal, and I want to see what happens in the following chapters and how Toby's going to alleviate things. And I want to keep it brief and spoiler free because, it's best experienced by yourself instead of having someone else tell you what happens in the game. And any thoughts that I do have that would go into spoilers probably would be better for their own video. I do still want to make a video on the weird route for Chapter 2, because there's so much going on in there that I just love, and I feel like no one has really taken a discussion of it seriously. or at least I haven't seen any big discussion videos on it. I think the only thing that I can say that I don't think many others have pointed out is that I think Chapter 2 and Deltarune as a whole works better for me than Undertale. And Undertale was great. It was fantastic. It was this amazing game. And it helped give a lot of indie developers a leg up and gave more people attention to that scene and everything. And it's amazing, and it influenced me and a lot of other people. But I feel like that was Toby testing the waters on what he could do as a game developer. And since Deltarune was this story that he wanted to tell for a long, long time, now that he knows more tricks on how to do this and he's working with people, it's him running full speed ahead and going all out with it. And I cannot wait to see what the future holds for this game. Yeah, that's all I got, really. Play the game, it's free. You know, everyone and their grandma can play it on their computer. It's on Switch, it's on PS4, you know, give it a shot. And hey, maybe someday in the future I'll make a video on the weird route of Chapter 2 and hopefully see more pop up in the future chapters. Let's move on to a game where I actually have a lot that I can talk about and that I'm really, really eager to talk about.
Alright! Who wants a piece of Fred? Just be careful! Sorry, but you're no match for me. I don't have time for uninspiring imagers.
Don't make me laugh.
Neo: The World Ends With You is a game that I really friggin' love. From the second I saw the first trailer back in November of last year, it was something that had my interest, and I can't fully explain why. I think it was just that mix of the music and the aesthetics and the gameplay looking so fast and fluid. It's something that just hooked me, and it got me to try out the original World Ends With You, the final remix version for the Switch. And it took some time to complete that, but I ended up loving that so much. And when Neo came out, I watched all the trailers, I read all the press releases, I even made a video talking about the demo. That is very much, I think, sums up my feelings well. At least my initial impressions anyways. There is so much about this game that I love, and it stinks that it didn't get as much attention as it deserved. And, you know, we can spend who knows how long talking about how it was mismarketed in the Western Front and how it felt like Square Enix only really kind of cared about it right as the game was about to release with Twitter promos and stuff like that. And I feel like, you know, its recent report on the game being based more on, I think, the Epic sales, not really representing game sales as a whole. I still love this game, and it deserves all the praise and attention that it gets. And I really want more people to know about this game. And I feel like if I ever shift into long-form discussion videos that are like, you know, hours long or scripted or heavily edited that people just watch in the background, I feel like my first foray into that, or one of my forays, would just be talking about Neo, because there's so much here that I love. I'll try my best to keep as little spoilers as I can, aside from the intro there, and that was more to make it match up with the song that I used. But man, this game, you need to play it for yourself to believe it. I actually got a friend recently to get this game and the original Final Remix on Switch during a Nintendo sale like a month back, and the joy I had seeing that they had this game or were going to play it is so... I was so ecstatic. I'm ecstatic when I hear that more people are trying this game. I'm ecstatic seeing people do things like combo videos finding ways to make this game look stylish, even though it's not a traditional action combo type game like Devil May Cry or the like. That just makes me happy, because that gives this game more attention. And take it from me, if you come away with anything from this video, get this game. Get Final Remix. Final Remix is, I think, cheap on digital, and Neo goes on sale often. Remember a few weeks ago they were selling it at Target or Walmart for like $15 a pop. And I think it's all the sales that are going to boost this game. They're going to get to Square Enix and say that yes, this series is worth revisiting. A recent interview from the creator said that while they didn't have any ideas at the present for a third game, they were still floored by all the praise and feedback and love that people gave this. And I think that's more important to them than sales, at least to the creators, that people love this game, that they had fun with it, and that they enjoyed it. But I do still think that buying this game while it's on sale is good, because it'll show Square that in the future, when the team does approach them and say, we would like to do a new The World Ends With You game, then they'll be able to see the numbers and say, yeah, it's worth it. And if anyone from Square somehow stumbled onto this video and is watching, please take fans' advice. Market the next game more. Market this game more during sales or events or for awards. Get people interested in this game. Send over one of those surveys to the West to see if there's interest in a sequel or DLC or a final remix or anything. We love this game. It's so fun. The gameplay is smooth. It's addicting. The graphics. I think this game matches Tetsuya Nomura's art style perfectly, better than any Kingdom Hearts game has, or at least it matches the look of The World Ends With You perfectly. It looks like the cutscenes, but in 3D. The music, I love the music. The soundtrack, get this soundtrack, please. I am begging you, buy this soundtrack, support the artists. This game is perfect to me, and I have so much I want to say, but I don't want to, because I don't want to spoil things any more than I have with the intro. Please consider getting this game. Please consider playing it. Just, this game rocks, and I want to make more about this game in the future. And I swear to you that I will. I think that's all I can say without getting too specific. I want to keep it short and sweet for each segment. And all I can say is Neo The World Ends With You is probably my game of the year for 2021. And I mean that fully. This game rocked. Everyone involved with it rocked. Ignore any stupid controversies of translation and localization stuff. People who say that don't actually care about this game or to Wooey in the first place. Give this game a shot. There's a demo that has the first 2 days in-game. You can transfer your data from there if you like it. Give it a try. I don't think you're going to regret it. Let's move on to the next game that I also fell in love with in 2021.
I'll never forget. That night, for the first time in 120 years, snow fell on Center Destroy. It was a sign. Another change, both beautiful and deadly, was coming.
Hey, you know what paradise is, right?
Paradise. This is no paradise.
Alright, then what is it?
A place to die.
This must be karma. Travis Touchdown.
Who the fuck do you think you are? Come on!
You gonna come all the way here to me? Travis Touchdown?
No More Heroes is one of those series that I didn't really have that much interest in, as I saw it coming out while I was growing up. It was one of those things that a lot of people that I watched on YouTube would talk about, and it would come up in game lists when discussing best games for the Wii or the most adult games for the Wii. But something about it just didn't click with me. I don't know if it was the look or the style, or my brain thought it was going to be something else than it actually was. And of course, you know, after No More Heroes 2 came out, there wasn't really that much to do with it. I'd see stuff for Lollipop Chainsaw, but that was about it. When discussing stuff from Suda 51. Maybe a bit of, like, Killer is Dead, but that was about it. I think my interest in the series first peaked, or first kind of arose, when I saw the Travis Strikes Again trailers. That first initial reveal trailer was something that I think a lot of people watched. And there was the reveal at the Nintendo Switch launch event that Travis Touchdown would be back. And people thought that was going to be No More Heroes 3, but then that didn't turn out to be No More Heroes 3. Then there was the E3 reveal of No More Heroes 3, followed by the goddamn superhero trailer at the Game Awards. And those all happened, and those had my interest, but it wasn't something that really got me. That wasn't what pushed me into trying the series. And I see the trailers for 3 coming out, and I saw the delay, and I saw the Nintendo Direct talking about how No More Heroes 1 and 2 were coming to Switch. And again, that still wasn't what swayed me over. I don't know what really did. I think just one day I saw that No More Heroes 3 was quickly approaching, and Nintendo was actually kind of putting effort into promoting it a lot with their E3 and on their Twitter. So I thought one day, just screw it, and I went out and I got No More Heroes 1 digitally on the Switch. And when I played through that, it instantly hooked me. And I think because it was such a condensation of the culture of 2007 and everything with that of American culture, it just instantly resonated with me. Playing through that first game, even just driving around the empty open world, which a lot of people hate, and I get why. Something just worked for me about it. I fell in love with the game. I loved Travis Touchdown, I loved all the characters, I loved the story setup. Suda 51 is a man who can very much easily hook someone in when he has writing control. And No More Heroes 1 did just that for me. Then I played Travis Strikes Again, which quickly became one of my favorite games of all time, and still is. And I mean that unironically. Like, even the gameplay, which can feel weak at times, especially with levels like Coffee and Donuts, or some of the puzzles in Life is Destroyed, I still love that gameplay. There's something so addicting about its simplicity. And because Suda set out to recreate an indie game, it just worked for me. The writing is just this big old manifesto on Suda's career as a game developer and just as a person in general, I think. And it hit hard with me. The music rocks. The designs rock. I just love everything about it. Then I played No More Heroes 2, and I think that game is very much weaker than No More Heroes 1 in terms of story, but I think the gameplay is really good and solid and fun at times, even if the bosses can kind of be hit or miss more than 1 was. And then when I got No More Heroes 3, that was just, oh, that is amazing to me. That gameplay is just so satisfying, so addicting to do. And while I wish there was a bit more stuff from 2, like multiple weapons, or the multiple characters of 2, and Travis Strikes Again, 3 is such a great game to me. And very much, you know that Suda is very much back in control. It's easy to label No More Heroes as this wacky, over-the-top game with silly characters and strange violence, but it's so much more than that once you get into it. It's just all these reflections on things that matter. What truly matters to someone. Reflects on violence and what is cool, what isn't. You can tell this is someone's personal story. And Suda 51 is just getting out his experiences with these games. And you can tell. I kind of view Suda 51 in kind of the same sense I view Kojima, where they are people who it's clear they have tons of ideas, and when they're able to fully get those ideas out, they turn out to be amazing. And I'm still kind of working my way through the backlog of Suda's other games that are rarely available. I want to truly play Killer 7. It's just The PC layout for controllers is a bit messy, and I don't think PS4 controllers work with it. But I do want to play it someday, and very much I am going to play through 24th and 25th Ward. I am eager to see what him and his team at Marvelous, Grasshopper put out next. No, I'm not giving Marvelous that much credit. But yeah, No More Heroes is an amazing game series. And it's fun, it's addictive, its writing can be heavily emotional, it's funny, it's serious. I feel like you can't just write it off as this funny game about a guy who's horny. It starts out as that and it feels like that, but it quickly becomes so much more. And that's why I love it. I love this game series. You know, with No More Heroes 3, Suda said for now it's the end of Travis Touchdown's story of No More Heroes, and who knows when he'll revisit it or what he'll do for his next game. I'm still kind of hoping that somewhere down the line there'll be a big update to No More Heroes 3 that adds a bunch of stuff, or DLC that lets you play as Shinobu and Bad Girl, or just, I don't know, anything really. But if not, you know, if it just ends on No More Heroes 3, it went out with a bang, and I loved it. Please consider giving this series a shot. I still hope that 3 gets ported to PC or PS4 or something where it can run at full 60 FPS without any limitations and its full vision can be seen. But even with its Switch port and its kind of flaws and failings, it's a great game. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love this series as a whole. If you're into darker humor and writing that really kind of hits deep at times. Try this game series out. I guarantee you'll love it. Also, Marvelous, please, I am begging you, put the soundtrack out for sale. Don't, if you're gonna keep striking people down, let us buy the soundtrack. We will give you money. If that's the issue, you're not making a profit from these songs. Let us give you money. We'll pay money for our soundtrack, complete soundtrack. It's rocks. The reason we're putting it up is because we love it so much. Please, just let us buy it off you. And please give us the full Travis Strikes Again soundtrack that also rocks, please. We'll give you as much money as needed. We'll pay $50 if needed. Kingdom Hearts 3 did it with its soundtrack, and we paid money for that, and we all loved it. We'll do it for you, too, because this series deserves that money. Please, I'm begging you. Pretty please. Quick disclaimer, if I sound weird for the rest of this video, I'm recording a lot of these right after getting my wisdom teeth removed, and my mouth is still sore, my lip still feels kind of swollen, and it's kind of all over the place, and there's a good chance I might be making a lot of swallowing sounds. Hopefully not. I'm going to make this next section quick anyways, because we're talking about a movie that's made for kids, and those are two things that don't go over well on YouTube. But it's something that I really want to talk about because it was something that I liked. I saw the new My Little Pony movie, A New Generation, on Netflix, and I personally enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was something that was well made. It was something that felt like an actual movie that was originally meant for theaters, just by the production of it and looking at it. The problem with a lot of Netflix original movies, and this kind of applies to all of them, not just animated ones, is that they feel like they weren't movies made for theaters. It just felt like they were movies that were meant for TV or meant for streaming. And there is nothing wrong with movies that are meant for streaming or TV. But, you know, sometimes it's good to see movies on streaming that show that they actually have the budget of actual movies sometimes. And especially with things like animation. You know, there's stuff like Klaus and this that show that there is passion and effort that goes into it. Where a lot of Netflix movies, especially those made for kids, kind of have they have good designs that are well made, but they don't always look the best. I really like this movie. I like the characters in it, you know. It was a semi-follow-up to Friendship is Magic, but it was clearly meant for people who had never even seen that show with Easter eggs, and it wasn't worth, you know, getting mad about over continuity things because it's kind of pointless to do so for a kid's cartoon about ponies. I like this. I think as a standalone product, it was really good. I think the message, was another basic, don't be racist, our strength is together kind of thing, and it kind of has the same flaws that a lot of kids media that has when it covers this stuff where I think it was a bit better than something like Zootopia where the message kind of could be read as, we're all equal as long as we find ways to use each other to our advantage to get ahead. When really it should just be, we're all equal. We should all exist together. And I think this film did a better job of showing off that idea. It still kind of fell into that at point, but I still think it did a good job. All the voice actors were good. The animation was really good. I'm curious to see what the art style for the mini movie coming later in 2022 and the full-on series will be. I do wonder if and how long that series will last, because the brownie fever that hit with Friendship is Magic can't really be kindled again in this environment, but who knows, maybe it can. And I hope so, because I like this and I like the characters and I want to see the world expand more. I want to see if they, get into things like villains or if it'll be more kind of just child-friendly stuff. Either way, it's fine because these characters are so good that you can see them in any situation and it's entertaining. And yeah, I like this. And, I'm happy to see that most of the fandom, except for I think Josh Scorcher, like this film because I think my biggest worry was that it was going to get dogpiled on by bronies. And it kind of did at first by implying that things got back into chaos because, just because Princess Twilight saved friendship in Friendship is Magic means that no chaos or disharmony or conflict can ever come again, because that's how it works in the real world, obviously. But no, the reception to it has been very good, and I think it deserves every bit of praise it gets, and I hope that it improves more and becomes something that, as a kids show meant for really little kids, is a quality show. Yeah. My Little Pony, A New Generation. Go see it if you haven't already. It's a good kids movie or just something to have on in the background. Songs are catchy too. Speaking of ponies and moving on to a topic that I can discuss a bit more in length, though, who knows, this might be shorter than the last segment because I'm not someone who knows much on how to talk about or discuss music in a technical sense or in a normal sense. I'm no Anthony Fantano. I don't have the best teeth in the game, hence why I got my wisdom teeth removed. But last year I was introduced to the works of an artist called Violet Pony with her work Lesbian Ponies with Weapons, with chainsaws. There's a chainsaw in the picture, so who knows, I'm getting things all mixed up. But I stumbled onto that last year like a lot of people did, and I kind of instantly fell in love with her work. And I was kind of on and off with her stuff, and it would pop in my feed sometimes, and sometimes it wouldn't. And slowly I subscribed once she started putting out music in lead-ups to the release of Cutie Marks. And when I listened to these songs, they were all so good and really hit. They hit hard, and when the full album came out, I bought it day one. I listened to it, and I was hooked. This is one of the best albums I've ever heard. And it's so weird to hear that when talking about a album that is primarily based on My Little Pony and brings up and is very motivated by things like shipping and headcanons. But it's not just that. It's telling stories about dealing with loss, romance, Moving On, Growing Stronger, Imitation Syndrome. It deals with all these things, and it's tied up in his appearance that it's just about My Little Pony. But when you listen to the songs and you look at the descriptions of each song when they're uploaded to YouTube, reading Violet go more in depth about this stuff, it's amazing, and it just hits hard, and it's just so many of these songs are so addicting to me. I've listened to Honeymoon Phase God knows how many times, and I never thought that I would say that a My Little Pony fan album would get me to tear up like a baby and heavily relate to it. Seabound is a song that just hits hard, and it's sad, it's uplifting. It's just, oh, she's just so good with her music. And she's someone who's been working on music for a long time. And I like this idea of musicians making art to go along with stories for pieces. You know, that's nothing new, and it's been done before. But some of Violet's other albums are directly meant to tie into fanfic that she's posted to fanfiction, and I don't really see that done a lot. I think the only thing that I've seen done closest to it is a fan-made soundtrack to go along with Doro Hedoro that was made before the anime was ever a thing. And even then, that's kind of more of a, I think, general thing. Kind of hard to describe. But man, I like the way she approaches music, how she does music. And every piece of music on this album is amazing and catchy, and just, there's going to be at least one song that gets stuck on your head. You know, mine was Honeymoon Phase, but for a lot of others it was Antonym, where it got so big it even got its own Siva kind of rip, which also rocks. And you know, it's just so interesting to see the mediums that we are attached to and what it can be. And I think this kind of helps prove that if you find an emotional connection with anything, it doesn't matter what that media is. I think for the most part, if it means something to you, that's all that matters. And if it helped you through a hard time, or if it hit an emotional spot or whatever, then that piece of media is amazing. And you should cherish it, and you shouldn't let others back you down. And I'm happy this album is a hit and that so many people loved it. And, you know, there was the normal complaint that it was music by a trans musician and dealt with some trans themes. And if you want more direct trans themes, listen to her previous album, Queen of the Misfits. But, you know, besides that, people love this album. Even non-bronies love this album. You know, that's common for MLP music, but for a whole album, that's exceedingly rare. Bottom line, get this album, stream it, listen to it on YouTube or wherever it's available to stream, download it, you know, pirate it financially. I mean, give her money financially and buy it. Or if you end up pirating it, at least, you know, share it with others. Like she says in the readme text of the album. Violet, you don't need someone like me promoting you, and you're not going to see this video, but this album rocked. And I know you've heard it like a million times, but really, it rocked. And you and all the other artists that worked with you to make this, oh, this was a 10 out of 10 album for me. I loved it. Eager to see your future works. Moving on, ending things, reflecting on my personal kind of growth and experience through this year, I very much think this was a year where I was put in a lot of situations that tested how I could respond to people in need and me being the only one there who could help. A lot of people who I know and I was close with were in situations where they were at their wits' end, or in emotionally overwhelming situations, and I was the only person who could be there for support or words of encouragement or just being there when they need it most. And while I can't always be that person every minute of my life because I have my own life and things I need to deal with, I still think it was important that I have these moments put on my plate and force me to deal with them. It's much better that way because there are probably going to be more moments like that with people I know in real life where I'll have to be the one who has to support them or be there for them or give them something that they need in a time of crisis. And I need to know what to say and what to do and how to respond right away and how to handle it. And I think I did a pretty good job this year. This is also a year where I feel like I was able to reach out more and kind of embrace who I am. I went to Cider Fest. It's first year back since COVID started last year in person, and I got to meet so many cool people and go to panels and have fun and support artists and buy things and dress in cosplay. This year I went to a lot of events in dress cosplay as Kanamori and Mod Pie, and it felt good. It felt nice to wear skirts. It felt nice to be seen and addressed by people around me as a woman. And it was very much my first steps to very much accepting transition and getting ready for that kind of stuff. Who knows when I'll be taking estrogen or getting all that kind of stuff done. I think just learning to wear a dress and be proud of that and be comfortable in that and look comfortable and have fun in that is probably one of the most important steps for me. And to all the people that I got to meet at both Anime Midwest and Cider Fest 2021, you guys all seem so nice and cool, and I'm so happy I got to meet you. I got to have all this fun with you at panels or at events or just seeing you do stuff and getting to talk to you. That was very fun for me. This is also a year where I put myself out more in terms of my writing. I've applied for so many writing magazines and fanzines, and most times I got rejected from them, but I didn't let that slow me down. There were times where I was accepted into things and I got to work with other talented people of artists and writers for zines. And I'm in another one that's coming up, and I got to take place in a few Big Bang events, and I got to work with artists there, and those were fun, and they were super cool, and it pushed me to take my writing more seriously. And very much, it led to me realizing that when I write something, I get attached to it when I know what it means. And with a lot of stuff I've posted on AO3, I have an AO3 account, by the way, I think that's probably obvious, but when I look at the stuff that I've been putting the most effort into and continually updating, and even after long hiatuses I still chug through, I realize those are the stories where I realize what the meaning for those are and what they mean to me. Bob Vids, a creator I respect and really enjoy listening to, did a video talking about the game Devotion, which I really want to play, and he talks about what makes video games or any piece of media art, and he talks about the contract that you have with the player, and that can also be applied to the watcher or the reader of the media that you produce, and it's how you tell them your experience and give them experiences that they've never gone through. And I'm very much probably bungling the words, and I'll link to the original video. And I think watching that video and hearing how he talks about art and how Roger Ebert talks about art and kind of this theory of how you present it and how you show your stuff to others, it hit home for me because very much I realized that's what I want to do with my work. And yes, at the moment, a lot of it is just fan fiction, and that's never going to be original fiction because, you know, at least in theory, fan fiction is never going to be good as the real stuff, again, in theory. But very much, I am proud of my work. And even if it's not a story I'm proud of, or it has mistakes and everything, it's still a learning experience for me and how to grow. and very much I like any opportunity I have to grow. That's why I love comments. That's why I love feedback, because it tells me what works, what doesn't, and what I can improve on. And very much that's what I look for most when I make my stuff, is what people like, what they take from it, and what I can improve. This was a good year for me. I got to meet a lot of cool people, and I got to work with a lot of cool people and artists and writers and commissions. I got myself a theme song by the wonderful Victor McKnight that you heard at the beginning, and I might play again at the end. I got to work with a lot of artists who helped deal with my kind of tendency to have large word jumbles when describing ideas, and they helped them come across perfectly. And I've been more proud in what I do and sharing what I get done and letting people see it and respond to it. I might link to my AO3 and FimFiction account if I'm lucky enough or brave enough. You know, sharing fan fiction to the world is not always the easiest thing to do a lot of times, and very much mine is all over the place. I've been writing since a teenager, so there was a time where I just only wrote mindless edge without meaning. I turned around, and I'm proud of me turning around on that and making good stuff out of it. But very much, I think, you know, it's tempting to share. And if I do, I'm going to share a fic that has been getting randomly dislike bombed on FimFiction with no feedback or anything. I think it's just a troll campaign because they don't like the cover or whatever. Please get that a watch and feedback and read it and just kind of, you know, give me thoughts, give me anything on it. I need that kind of stuff. I've also set up a Ko-Fi just in case someone likes my work and wants to actually donate to me. I don't feel ready enough for something like a Patreon where those are based on monthly, where you have to give something, you know, in return, and I don't have a set schedule yet, but I do want to do things like writing more full-time and video production, and I think having a Ko-Fi where people can kind of help fund these projects would be a nice thing. It's not mandatory. I'm not promising like any exclusive videos if you join. It's just a Ko-Fi where you can just donate, you know, whatever you want if you want to support me and just kind of show that you like my work. As for the future and 2022, there are video ideas that I want to work on. I want to do a video going more in depth on why I love No More Heroes as a series. I want to do another Crossover Chronicle episode, and very much I've improved production values on it, and I've got a little sneak preview I want to show off. I'm really excited for how that video will turn out, and I am not quitting on that. I want to do videos talking about shipping and the ships I have and why I like them and why people ship them in general. And I just want to talk about fandom culture in general. And you know, I hope that I can keep to that. I hope that I can make these promises here and get them done. And I feel like I'm getting to a point where I can make these promises and do them and fulfill them. I want to thank everyone for watching me, watching my videos throughout these past few years of YouTube. You know, you can tell the evolution, how I've gotten better and more courageous at doing things. And I hope that I can keep growing, that I can keep learning from my previous videos and what I can improve them for. Might even remake some that I really kind of want to go more all in on. And maybe I'll consider doing scripting for things. Maybe I'll consider doing work for that kind of stuff. This has gone on long enough. I hope you had a great Christmas, a great Hanukkah, a happy Kwanzaa, a happy holidays, and that your 2021 was good. And that even if there were hardships, you still pulled through, and you grew, and you made great memories that overshadow the bad ones. And that your 2022 is just as great. My name is Timegal25, and thank you so much for watching.
Do not let me down, Johnson. I mean, 8 Heart.
I can do this.
I foresee no difficulties.
Mataせたな相棒普通の意志を貫くまでラミのヒーロードクロのジョンソン8ハートの登場7つの弾丸でも大丈夫悪魔とダンシングやり合う毎晩